So we got our top 8.
I saw James tried his best to bubble, but didn't quite.
No, not quite this time. I feel like James messed up, right?
Well, I mean, he should have kept the streak alive, right? Is he the only Degen in the top 8?
We have some standings up here. I believe so.
Okay. Looks like there were 2, I think, Esper Planeswalkers lists, and it looks like they both made top 8, so that definitely did seem like it's to run today.
I've been jamming Boros, so I'm excited to see Tom Maxwell here with the undefeated Boros list.
Do you want to pull up his list? I haven't seen it yet. Okay. There's a lot of ways to build this. This looks like just mono white, splashing, rabbit, and Kazakhstan. Cool. Yeah, I mean, this deck is definitely pretty good at attacking down the more controlling builds. I think this is probably really play draw dependent. What did he play against on his way to being undefeated? For control, sure. Naya Runes, mono white, and then all of the black, white, X decks.
Esper. Yeah. So he played against one of everything and still managed to get there.
Yeah. 4 black, white, X decks. Probably a pretty good matchup for the mono white splash hasty stuff deck.
Boros is alive.
This is Todd Turkey. Actually, we played an event together. We played one of the Team Trios events way back in the day. Historic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a tournament grinder. He's a very good player.
Yeah, Von Heyman is in the top 8. The names change too. Like in the pairings, it says Von Heyman, and then here it changes to the real name, which is a little annoying.
Yeah, we should talk to Melee about that. We'll get right on it.
I don't know which one it is.
So, do we have some idea when the pairings for the top 8 are going to be put out?
Boros is live. Looks like they are all streaming. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Pretty good diversity in the top 8. Probably not going to be seeing the same decks over and over. I know both of these players. I will not cheer for either one.
Fair enough.
I'll cheer for the one that wins. On the play, probably the most important thing in game 1.
For a Boros player, absolutely.
And looks pretty sweet.
Looks great to me. What a beautiful curve on the play here.
Got the man land, got a good turn 1 play, good turn 2 play, good turn 3 play, good turn 4 play, and that turn 4 play turns into a turn 5, 6, and 7 play. Not bad.
No, unfortunately, we don't have like professional stuff where we can like trim other people's feeds in, because it's just a live stream. That we would be able to do that if this was not live and we could edit it, but
it would be cool if we could do that at some point.
Not stream live?
No, stream live, but like on a delay of like 10 minutes and have editors put it video for the other.
They would have to be on site probably, and then or they'd have to have their computer and I'd have to stream their computer.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
All right, here's Kazakhstan getting in for 1.
Was there anything else I needed to do on Ultra Pro to support you guys? Absolutely. The only thing you need to do is use code DGEN for 5% off. You could use the link down below just to help make sure it gets tracked correctly, but that is it. Thank you so much, MTG. I appreciate that.
It's in the tank on turn 1. Trying to figure out what this means.
Could be like some sequence of tapped lands, and just kind of deciding like your play order and how you should best do that. And in top 8, it is single elimination. Can't fault him for taking time on those.
Absolutely. So only one legal play here, basically.
And it is a Mardu mid-range deck, so I could definitely see some issues with mana base.
Yeah, low to the ground 2-color deck, or 3-color deck. Positions expert. I imagine we throw away at planes here.
I would think so.
Thalia... I wonder how Thalia is in this map. Given the way that James has been, like, sequencing his land drops, it makes me think that there's a turn 3 play that he really wants to make. And I feel like Thalia might mess with it. I'm not sure what that would be. Kind of a rock and a hard place for James here. If he plays like a relevant creature, we get to Cathar, right? If we draw land, we get to Angel. And we also have a dominant board state as well. Okay, there's Paulo.
That's helpful. What do you think you take here?
What do you take? Yeah. I feel like the Cathar is not as good as it looks just because they'll get the Paulo back afterwards. I think I take the Legion Angel here, but it really depends on what's in my hand if I'm James.
And you know your opponent, once you've taken the card, your opponent's kind of only on one card. So if your opponent top decks a land here and they get to cast that Legion Angel, they then kind of essentially refill their hand. They're getting an additional card per turn, which is a huge deal.
Yeah, and as a general rule, when you're playing Paulo, you want to take the more expensive card if you're in.
Yeah. And I don't know that Brutal Cathar coming down and taking either one of the options that are currently on the field is that bad.
James' hand certainly contains some amount of removal. The Cathar is not something that we want to expose to that. I think we take the Angel here. Although the fact that he's tanking so long suggests that maybe he has limited removal options, but he does settle on taking the Legion Angel. And it looks like we're probably going to find out what's in that hand. We can probably safely attack first.
Agreed. I like keeping the pressure high here. Chat is noting that Paulo is the only person who doesn't call that card Paulo.
Well, it'd be a little awkward if he did. Okay, let's take a look. Everyone who was asking for James's hand, now we have it.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
That's a lot of removal.
Yes, it is. We can try to take the Hag Remodeling and get them off their 4th land drop. Cathar. Yeah, I think the Skyclave Apparition makes the most sense. The Cathar is something that we can our own later.
Not if the next Inquisition Expert comes down, which is what I think will happen.
Maybe. It guarantees to take away the Cathar, so that's true. It's just maybe our own Cathar on the board stops the bleeding a little. Like, we are at 11, and they do have a 3 power flyer. It looks like you're right that that's the play.
Chat's asking if we will be uploading the tournament to our YouTube channel. I will be. There is a Degen YouTube channel, and I'll be posting these tonight or first thing tomorrow morning.
James still has priority for something here. Oh, whether to play the land or not. He opts to play the land, which I think makes a lot of sense. We're just getting in. Oh yeah, probably one of the worst draws in the deck, honestly. So if James finds a land, then maybe Skyclave Apparition is the way to go. Taking out Paulo. Otherwise, the Cathar on Paulo is probably good enough. One unknown card in Todd's hand. We do play the Apparition here. Probably just the most mana efficient thing he could be doing.
Mana efficient, and also it's, you know, pretty nice when your opponent has a 3/3 flyer and you're at 6 to be able to kill it. Pardon my reach.
Interesting to attack with Thalia first and not play the Aspirant pre-combat.
Agreed. A double block there would have been awkward.
And we don't get the counter for the Aspirant by playing a post-combat. That's an interesting play.
I'm wondering if we liked the idea of them double blocking, we can kill the Apparition, get a 3/3 back, and then play the other Thalia. Is the idea behind that to just maximize the value of cards in our hand, because right now Thalia is dead. So we're kind of fine trading that for the Aspirant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it is the logic. I'm not sure I like it very much, because The chump is just the obvious play, I think, when the opponent has 2 Cathars in hand to deal with our board anyway. But I suppose, knowing that they had the 2 Cathars, the extra counter from the aspirant didn't matter. Now we get to dump our hand, but we are overwhelmingly behind.
Yeah, we're going to need some key pieces of removal from the Boros player to kill some of these Cathars, get our cards back, and you know, getting back the Luminarch Aspirant would be a huge boost to this side of the table.
And now we flip to Knight. We don't even have the right color lands to activate the den.
And Legion Angel is still dead. I liked the play of getting rid of that Legion Angel, and I think that's going to be a huge game turner. If we would have been able to Legion Angel here, it would have been a difficult time for the 1-Jame.
I think that was a decisive moment. They're dead, sure. But there is no reach. We are at 17. If we find another angel off the top, maybe we get in the... Okay, that's gonna stop that a little bit.
A little bit. The question is can the 1-Jame play a second spell to flip these Cathars back and flip this board again?
Sure can.
It's looking pretty good.
There's taking out the Initiate instead of the Thalia. Love it.
Well, I'm guessing the reason for that is because you take the one Cathar that already has a Thalia, put the other one underneath it. If they kill it, they only get the one back.
Yes.
So the order of these triggers will be super important, making sure that Thalia... Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter. But now if we have a single target removal spell,
yes,
we kill that Cathar. That was a bit of a misplay here on the 1-Jame's turn.
Now, unfortunately, we can block with the Den if we want, but we have to go to Knight to do it. And Bot has seen enough. Just kind of ran out of gas there, and the opponent had just the right amount of disruption to keep us from executing our...
Got stuck on mana.
For sure.
I think at any point, if we would have gotten to the 6 mana to play the Legion Angel, that would have been an easily closed out game.
So it's time to grind now. In come the Showdown of the Scalds. 2 Legion Angels in the main. You might be able to get away with siding down to 1 in the main. If you want to try to grind. Maybe the idea here is that we're on the play, we're still the beatdown, and maybe on the draw. Little grindier. So Todd with his back up against the wall here. Game's looking to advance to the semifinals. Go.
Todd gets a second chance on the play here.
Yeah, that's actually kind of critical. James breaking serve there, winning on the draw against the egg.
Yep.
First hand, not really what Todd wants to see. This is significantly better.
A little too slow for my taste, especially being down a card, but it looks like James will also go down a card and match there.
Yeah, if you have to go to 5, this is a pretty good 5. You'd like a 1-drop, but if you have a removal spell, you have disruption for the opponent's hand, and you have probably your heaviest hitting 2-drop in Aspirant. Comes the Luminarch Aspirant, pre-combat this. Professor of Symbology. Okay, what are we getting? Pest Summoning. Pest Summoning, a pretty good answer to the low to the ground aggro deck. We did find Showdown.
It is pretty interesting too that like Cathar is kind of bad against these ETB type effects that can be seen. I like getting to oof. This is very, very nice getting to get rid of that apparition, I think.
I think it has to be.
Definitely. We want to keep that aspirant going as far as we can to keep it out of range of Meat Hook Massacre. It's just going to be a okay, I guess I'm incorrect.
Todd disagrees.
Todd very much disagrees.
The Meat Hook Massacre was a possible answer to Apollo, which was not going to be a Crow the Master.
I think I'd rather lose the Apollo than the Apparition, or than the Aspirant. Oh, but it looks like we're just gonna do the other one anyway. Okay.
I guess the feeling is that the Aspirant is going to have a hard time getting through the Pest tokens on the ground. The Graveyard Trespasser is... Of course, this walks right into Brutal Cathar. The high-risk, high-reward card. If the Cathar dies, obviously, then James is going to get his Skyclave Apparition back. It's going to kill the Aspirant.
Yeah, I'm guessing at this point you feel like you also got a 3/3 on the board, and that's just enough for Boros.
So what do we do here? Do we, like... Opponent plays Pest Summoning and says go. Do we play Adeline here, or do we play Showdown? I think I like Showdown. Make sure... And now that our board is gone, I'm much happier to play Showdown. Yeah. Briefly thought about casting Spellbinder there, but we're at the point in the game where everything in James's hand costs 3 and he's about to be on 5 mana next turn. So the tax is not super relevant anymore.
An untapped land means we can cast like Wanderer, Apparition, or Aspirant. Why do I keep messing those up? Or we can play, if we miss, then we just play Skyclave Apparition into Aspirant, which is a pretty hefty board.
Yep, this Showdown will also be pumping things all the while.
Yeah. Getting those creatures out of range of the Meat Hook Massacre, which is pretty important.
Yeah, but it looms large. Todd's board is not going to be able to keep up with Meat Hook Massacre forever. Honestly, I kind of like, if we do draw the untapped land, I kind of like Emperor plus Aspirant.
You won't have the mana for that.
There we go. We draw untapped land?
Aspirant. God, I keep messing up the 2. Yes. So that's what I was saying originally, was that if we hit the land, I prefer those 2. If we don't hit the land, we play the other 5 mana total cards.
James crushingly ahead here. However, it's kind of awkward to play that Cathar, though. You lose the value from Showdown. We hold that for next turn.
Mm-hmm. Are we just taking... Oh, that's interesting. I think I would have...
We get the token back.
Yeah.
Actually get the creature. Oh. Token. Meat Hook, next turn, threatens for only 2, so it only kills the Aspirant.
So why didn't we put the +1/+1 counter onto the Aspirant instead of the Apparition? I guess we just didn't want them to get a 3/3.
If we lose our Apparition, then they get another... We are under, like, significant pressure, actually, if the Massacre comes down and kills something.
Yeah. Getting a raid from Astrals. Thank you so much for the raid, guys. Welcome. Good games today. Enjoy watching you guys play. This is quite a back and forth. White really being able, or Boros being able to stick in with this Showdown a little bit.
So away goes the Skyclave Apparition, but we have a Cathar in hand, which will take that Cathar. We'll get back a Skyclave Apparition. Probably take their Skyclave Apparition and get a 2/2 token.
Yep. That 2/2 token is not great when they've got the Massacre. So I'm wondering if
Adeline plays pretty well here. Like if we had Cathar'd away their Cathar, gotten back our token, we could have asked Adeline pump up the token from the Showdown trigger. This is a little worse right now because everything on the board is 2 toughness.
I kind of like not killing the Apparition because of one of the major things they have to stop us is the Massacre, and when they do decide to Massacre, I'd like to be able to get something back on the board.
We can't realistically target the Trespasser there because we don't want to discard Adeline.
Agreed.
Targeting Professor is kind of mopey, but like we had the option to decline. Like if we came to the conclusion that Meat Hook is going to be forced, then maybe declining makes some sense there.
Right now they're only meat hooking for 1, possibly for 2, And next turn, most of our stuff will be out of range of 2. And with the aspirant on board, we can probably keep most things out of the way of a meat hook.
Yeah, it feels like James needs that last card to be both land and gas.
Yes. Or a top-decked meat hook that's not taxed.
Is James running Showdown? Because that's the only thing I can think of that would do.
Let's take a look at James's list. This is game 2, so they could definitely have some of their sideboard cards in here.
A lot of the sideboard there is dedicated to learn cards, learn creatures, and there is no Showdown of the Scalds there.
And there's only one meat hook in the entire deck as well. So there is no other meat hook coming to save the day, and that is going to be pretty important.
Post-combat Adeline is a little weird, but I guess the 1/1 was just going to get eaten anyway.
Agreed.
I guess another, like, naturally drawn meat hook.
There
here.
isn't any.
There's only the one?
There's only the one in the board.
Wow. And there's none in the main.
Nope.
Wow, okay. Okay, so another Brutal Cathar.
This is an interesting game that
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. Well,
so I think we apparition their Cathar.
Yeah, take a peek at what that last draw was, because it wasn't a land, so that's pretty key.
Interesting sequencing decision here. You decided to just chump Adeline rather than the go for broke play of killing it outright.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. It's a little low value. Especially if they have another one. What a blowout that would be.
Yeah. So up to 10. See what that last card is. Hollow comes back, and... Ooh. Okay.
Sorin.
Now, if they draw untapped land, then that didn't really... Just to hold back the Cathar. Makes some sense. Is eventually...
Kind of. At this point, it still feels a little too late, but an untapped land and a meat hook would leave them with very, very little, actually.
Yeah, if James draws literal meat hook off the top here, which this Skyclave Apparition does
There is
suggest.
no meat hook off the top. There's
That's
only
right, that's
one.
right. It's weird for me to see a deck that is not playing...
All of them?
Well, at least 3.
Okay, that's a lot of triggers. We got... I don't actually know who's going to end up with what on the board after this.
Yeah, I'm just going to let Arena figure it out. Oh, what a top deck.
That was a heck of a top deck. Wow.
Yep. We hit untapped land here, then we get to do it all.
And that's 2 out of 2.
Showdowns? Mm-hmm.
Showdowns, yeah.
Well, one showdown usually gets another, right? Go that deep. Is there any other mass removal in James? Or is it just the one copy of...
Not that I really saw.
Nope. It's not.
A lot of Vanishing Verse, Bloodchief's Thirst. I think the reason they're not running it is because we have 4 Skyclave Apparitions, Brutal Cathars, 3 Thirsts, 1 Mauling, 3 Vanishing Verses. Maybe they just think they have enough single target removal that sticks that they won't need the larger board wipes.
Especially when you have the O-ring effects, they don't play well with your...
Yes, that's a good reason not to be having. When you've got 8 main deck O-ring creatures, a high level of Meat Hook Massacres is just going to be quite the nombo.
So we see the last card in James's hand is a land.
And Todd just drew 4 cards, essentially.
Showdown's pretty good.
No, with the Legion Angel.
Oh, yes.
Another 4 cards,
Yes,
in addition to the 4 from the previous turn.
Yeah, he has drawn well. Without mass removal, it is pretty difficult to see how James gets out of this game too.
But James luckily was able to, snag a key win when being on the draw in game 1, which gives James the play here in game 3 against the aggro deck, which is pretty key.
Thorn's gonna die. I think that 8 from Adeline is going upstairs. Oh, nice. Okay, so we can pump the 2/2, give it first strike, keep it around, and deny the lifelink.
That's a pretty big game.
All right, your move, James. Okay. I don't think there's much left. There's, I think, sciences. Okay, reduced to memory.
Meat Hook Massacre, or Mascot Exhibition, but there's not enough mana for that.
That's a sad, sad play to have to make.
It certainly is not going to help here.
I think it keeps him alive on board, does it? Block. They take 9.
With a land?
They're dead. Yeah, they're dead.
But you know what I like to see in my top 8? Exciting game 3s.
Mm-hmm. And James almost bubbled. Now he's going to go to game 3. Wouldn't it be something if he was back against the wall every step of the way, all the way?
I think James was actually also X2 semi-early, like in the 3-2 range. So
I think you're right.
Yeah. 2-2 or 2-3.
Oh, it's just dotting his I's and crossing his T's. Make sure he's doing his math right. But he is. Okay, now let's see if Todd makes any sideboarding changes going into game 3. Interested in that. Sometimes sorry, go ahead.
Kill, I just want to say, I've tried to turn off the ads so many times, and Twitch's new system is just the worst. So if you are getting ads, I'm going to try to change another setting and see if that works. Let me know if you get another ad, okay, guys? They keep changing their, ad policies, and then they default straight back to, a shit ton of ads. So, sorry about that. Hopefully, I'll get it worked out. Subscribers shouldn't be getting ads, period, and then I have not been playing ads, which is annoying.
Yes.
I even turned it off last night because they did a revamp to where it automatically makes it so you get ads it's supposed to be every 30 minutes, I think, is what the default is.
Okay, so we stand pat. So we're taking the same aggro strategy with removal creatures and going straight into game 3 with that. It was barely enough on the play once out of 2 times, and now we're on the draw. And it's not like his draws were bad either time.
I think Todd, we keep seeing another flash to another arena screen. I think they might be double queuing with another tournament today.
That would not surprise me.
We've seen that before in our top 8s.
This hand's just kind of nuts. Holy crap.
Wow. Yes. On the draw, so that's going to be James's 1 saving grace here.
Maybe we can ask for a better 3-drop. Maybe we want Paulo instead.
But in all seriousness, guys, I did just change another ad setting, so hopefully that takes them away. If you do get another one, please let me know so I can keep fiddling with the settings, because there's too many things.
I'll decide to keep. I think I would too.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty close to the nuts, so I would think so.
Probably the best 1-drop into probably the best 2-drop.
Agreed.
go. Interesting now that we've drawn Thalia. Yeah, I think I like this. I think on the play, I would have jammed the Aspirant. But because James is so likely holding up 2 mana removal,
I think he's more likely to have one of the 8 creatures that come down on 3 and possibly exile or O-ring it. So it's kind of like, which one do you want O-ringed also?
Yeah, I mean, if you force him to waste the 2 mana that he was holding open, then you're still kind of getting it.
I don't know that the one James has a ton of 2 mana removal that is not sorcery speed. Like, the one James has, like, Bloodchief's Thirst, Mauling, and Vanishing Burst, and that's kind of it.
That's true, and the Vanishing Burst wasn't available because he didn't have black.
So.
Alright, Paulo jumps in front of a bus.
A slug bug, they both died.
Well, he's a bus himself, I guess. They trade buses. And now if James can answer the Aspirant, he doesn't necessarily know this. If he answers the Aspirant, then he's probably in pretty good shape. Thirst goes after Thalia, suggesting it was cramping his style at least a little bit.
Or he's thinking he can outpace the Aspirant next turn with a Meathook Massacre or something, or one of those removal spells.
That seems likely.
What is this thing?
It's the red channel land.
I see. To make 2/1/1s.
That's right.
Easy decision, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that does mean you're not really casting Adeline next turn, which I think is pretty key. I mean, untapped land will still get there, but
So the man land, the channel land is
yeah.
Channel land is untapped, but it's gone now. Okay. As draws go, Paulo a pretty good one. Probably just want to play it pre-combat and pump it up to get in for 4. Meathook next turn is for 4, so it doesn't really matter which thing we pump. Other acquisitions expert and Able.
yeah, I think I'm just suiting up the Aspirant here so I can attack in this turn. I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, the Meathook would be for 3, 4. The more we put on the Aspirant, the more likely it is to be able to outpace a Meathook. Just get a little bit of time.
And it's also important to note that there is only one Meathook.
Natural Adeline, so we just slam and go right here, right?
I think so.
Spacebar.
I like that play.
Go. Untapped land threatens to activate the Den of the Bugbear next turn. James, I think it's Meathook or bust.
Yeah, it's not looking super great, but even a Meathook is only for, I guess it is for 4, which would still be pretty gross.
Yep, it would put him up to 11. You've Todd with just a man land. Exile Adeline. We pitched 2 cards.
Getting to draw 3 this turn definitely helps with the dig there.
So is this the tanking of someone who is clicking the buttons for Meathook Massacre, or is this the tanking of someone who has... Middle ground, okay.
That's on the Adeline.
I think...
Represents the most damage next turn.
Oh, he's probably going to have to throw the Cathar under a bug.
Yeah.
He is going to have to.
And you get the Adeline anyway for the... Or you can just play the bug, just go with Bugbear, I think, yeah.
I think they're just dead on board. Dump the 4/4, get in for 4, 8, 9. Yeah, they're dead.
All right, so that's going to be a game 3 going to Boros, which, as one of my favorite things to play, I approve, but I am sad to see the one James, our Degen, knocked out here in the first round of top 8.
Well, progress, right? Nice to see him in the top 8. Nice to see someone from Degen Gaming make the top 8 of the Degen tournament.
Yes. Well, we didn't get a lot of people to play because we're doing coverage and all of that. We had 3 Degens here doing coverage. We have 2 Degens doing tournament organization. So unfortunately, we don't get to play. But yeah, we're definitely glad to be here and hosting for you guys.
And that Boros draw was really a thing of beauty. Like, holy crap.
Very good. Didn't they mulled, or was that the previous game?
No, they did mull. That was a 7.
Okay. The previous game was a mull into a pretty beautiful hand to win, actually.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. All right, so we are going to be going into the semifinals in just a minute. We have 2 matches not reported.
Wow. The Esper players got paired.
They did, yeah. The 2 Esper Planeswalker decks did get paired, so that's nice. We get to guarantee we see one in the next round. And it looks like we have Orzhov midrange beating Selesnya Enchantments, which is a little sad. I didn't really get to see that today, but I am glad to see the Boros match.
Life was always going to be hard for that Selesnya deck once they started playing the black and white base control. I think we looked early. They threw a bunch of aggro early on, which helped their record a lot. That's their best matchup, but they had a really poor set of matchups bringing that deck.
All right, let's take a peek at the Orzhov control and Mardu aggro, because one of them will be eliminated this round. So let's go ahead and pop into there and take a watch and see who is going to get eliminated for this round.
All right, so we're in game 3. We have double Vanishing Verse and a flipped coffin.
This is a rematch. This was actually, these 2 players were facing each other in round 6.
Okay.
And Von Heyman actually took the win there 2-0 in some very intense matches.
Killian dodging Vanishing Verse is big game. Killian having trample here also pretty important. That Angel Fire Ignition card, it feels like it shouldn't be that great. It's like glass cannon kind of thing, but my god, it scares me every time I see it.
In round 1 of the round 6, or match game 1, Murph drew all 4 of the ignitions and got to cast them both twice.
Be double blocking here when it has tramp. Oh, because of the double strike. Are we just dead if we didn't do that?
I'm guessing
Not
to
quite.
preserve life total.
I guess giving it -1/-1 after first strike damage does save a point. Okay, we get a redraw here. Nothing in the bin yet. If we attack Enuma, do we have enough mana for both? The answer isn't. And miss. And they have another ignition just ready to get played. So we probably just... There's no way that they don't go for it.
And
yep, and that's it.
Von
No way
Heyman
out.
gives him the GG, and this was a rematch, guys, where Von Heyman, like I said, did get the match in round 6, and Murph getting some
payback.
Yeah.
Betting he wished. Betting you, our hero here was wishing that those games happened in the other order.
Yes, especially because they were playing for going to X2, meaning both of them were probably going to make it on breakers. So that was.
But it did matter. It probably made a difference in the play draw.
So welcome back, guys, to round 8. Let's jump on in and check out the match.
I don't know. Selfishly, I want to see Boros get through. I think it'll be the more interesting final. Kind of like I know the player.
I just like Boros, so I want Boros to be good. So I want them to win. But also, Mardu, one of my favorite 3-color combos, Orzhov mid-range. Again, a very fun deck. Mid-range is always very near and dear to my heart. So, I mean, no offense, Alex. I just want the Esper Planeswalker deck to lose. But again, nothing personal. And also, he's rooting for you.
It's something personal. Trust me, it is. It's definitely personal. But we are guaranteed an aggro versus control matchup in the final.
Well, mid-range. Right?
They call it Mardu aggro. I'm gonna give them the benefit of.
Well, they could be mid-range versus aggro, no control, right?
Sure. I don't think there is a real Orzhov mid. I think it's all
kind of controlling.
Everything black-white is controlling.
Fair enough. Oh, there you go. Someone's rooting for Go Walkers.
Right. So, are we the... Which player are we? We're the Orzhov mid-range player, I guess? Because both players have just played black-white lands. I don't know which one's Esper and which one isn't.
So we are watching...
Yes.
The Orzhov mid-range, yes. Planeswalkers are on the other side of the table.
Okay. So we lost one of our Luminarch aspirants. Still have another. Loth was a pretty good draw to dodge the check for traps from the... Bankbuster, one of the cards that really matters in this matchup.
Bankbuster, you know, this is the opponent on the Esper side. This is the opponent we just saw take down the last match that we were watching for round 7.
Those Jabber emotes are terrifying. Holy crap.
Bell Snickle, welcome to the...
Okay, so we have once again played our 4th land and said go. For what feels like the umpteenth time in this tournament, I wonder what's in the opponent's hand. What could it possibly be?
It could be both. It could be Wanderer plus...
That's true. I'm assuming it's like Quad Wanderer.
Yeah, it's probably like 2 Wanderers, 2 Strokes.
Could be. I'm not in the main deck, probably. Okay, so... If we have the Soul Read on the Wanderer, it might make sense to hold up Vanishing Verse, but the opponent doesn't know about it. So we're probably just supposed to jam the Wedding Announcement here. Post-combat.
Yeah, if you have the Soul Read on the Wanderer, do you just maybe not attack with the Aspirant?
What are we doing here if we're not attacking with the Aspirant? Like, the situation is not improving.
Well, if we play Wedding Announcement, we can start pressuring with some other things. Like the Hive of the Eye Tyrant, the Wedding Announcements, and then keeping the Aspirant to put counters on those 1/1s. I feel like giving them value for the Wanderer here just feels kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting 2 for 1 here. We're certainly going to play Wedding Announcement plus Vanishing. No, this was... Were we on the draw?
This is on turn 4, unfortunately. So I think I would have just played Wedding Announcement, play around Stroke, and not give them the value for the Wanderer here. And then next turn you can untap and Vanishing Verse something.
I think you need to evaluate whether you can beat the Wanderer. You seem to think that you can. I'm, like, less sure. The Wanderer plus the Bankbuster is a really tall order for the deck to beat.
That's part of the reason I don't want to give them value for the Wanderer by attacking into it with the Aspirant.
Yeah, I'm saying if you can't beat them having the Wanderer, then it kind of makes sense to just assume they don't have it.
I think I can beat it if I play around it.
Yeah. But it turns out that the opponent, in fact, had Discard Spell, Bankbuster, Wandering Emperor, and Loth. Yeah, life is hard. Probably... I mean, if we play our own Loth, can our Loth survive? We'll get another token off the Wedding Announcement. We can keep our Loth alive, assuming the opponent has nothing else.
We are going to take a quick sec to switch screens here, just because the person streaming this one is a little I think having a little upload latency, so we're gonna see if switching views helps.
Okay.
See if that helps. It was a little sticky.
They did decide to play the Lolth. We have our third Planeswalker and a Vanishing Verse to deal with the Lolth. Vanishing Verse also represents a pretty neat combat trick once the wedding announcement. This is awkward, right? You probably start by plussing Lolth, try to hit your land drop, I think, because the value of being able to soar and plus Vanishing Verse is super high. No, we're just getting in. Alright.
Yeah, I think these are good trades if they want to protect their Lolth. And you get them to trade, and then you can Vanishing Verse it away if they double block, thinking that they're going to get to use value for it next turn. I like this well enough.
Looks like they may not. Reconsidering. Swing with 1. Now Lolth is going to go up to 3. And our Lolth is going to go. Kind of the worst of both worlds. Can't use our own Lolth to make spiders anymore.
They can't. I think I would have attacked with both. I would have happily traded my 2 spiders and then Vanishing Verse their Lolth away, giving them really nothing left. Or they choose to let the Lolth die and we could do something else.
Yikes. Alright, so Vanishing Verse on Lolth at this point does seem for. I still think we're ahead, but that turn kind of swung it a little bit. Now the wedding announcement is going to flip. We're going to have to answer their board. Our Lolth is dead if they want it to be. In a number of different ways. They also have Vanishing Verse.
Yeah, I think swinging with the other spider also would have sort of protected our Lolth, because they might have thought that they could protect theirs by double blocking, giving them nothing to swing back with.
Backing us down. Trade token.
March on a token feels pretty bad.
Oh, it feels pretty good, actually. 1 mana Swords to Plowshares that doesn't even give him the life. It just sucks because we know the opponent has the Vanishing Verse face up.
I just meant it's bad in that you've already used a card to deal with the Lolth. You've already traded the other spider. You're using this on that, plus trading this spider. So that's like a lot of value for the 1 Lolth on your opponent's side of the board.
True. We do have 2 more card draws out of this Bank Buster. We have Soaring, which will draw cards. We have Lolth in play, which can draw cards. Restoration. Interesting. That is a card that we have not seen much of today. We probably have to Vanishing Verse Lolth here. Do 1 token off of the announcement. And yeah. I mean, this hand just sort of plays itself a little bit.
Agreed.
It's probably just, yeah, Lolth plus Hive.
Force them to use the Meat Hook Massacre at some point, and then, you know, Bank Buster and Hive can clean up.
Yeah, Meat Hook doesn't even make a lot of progress here.
Because the Lolth will just remake the spiders at a very minimal loss. Bull Jets, thanks for the raid. Welcome to the channel, guys.
At this point, I think we're just thrilled if the opponent Meat Hook Massacre for full value.
Agreed.
I don't think there's anything in the... There wasn't anything in the bin to get back with Restoration either. Bull Jets, I bet you love seeing this. All that black and white. We've seen a number of Vanishing Verses already, although because we switched sides halfway through the match, I kind of forget at how many. field away and at an opportune moment, and now the meat hook is come down. X equals. You have to assume they have, yeah, the untapped land is coming off the field of ruin, so meat hook is going to come down for 3.
I'm wondering if there's a world where they don't use it yet.
Oh, they do have their own saga flipping. It will die if they don't do it.
The Saga's a 3/4.
It is? Okay.
I believe so. It's like a limited card.
Yeah, this is where you come in.
Yeah, the Saga's a 3/4 that attacks and makes 1/1s. So another Bankbuster's cute. A lot of card draws here.
Yeah, we can. They have their own hive, so we kind of have to pump the brakes and go a little slow. Like, we can't just start getting in with the Bankbuster, but I'm not sure that we really... My Kaito is more than happy to take the 3 there.
A lot of Planeswalkers coming in.
Lolth is just such an oppressive Magic card against creature decks.
We're seeing a lot of new cards, but we're also still seeing a lot of Lolth. There's no denying that.
Lolth is one of those fun ones that just never really got an opportunity. It thrives in these sort of black, mid-rangey builds that were just not possible.
But it saw a lot of play before that. Like, this is not the first time we've seen this as an issue.
I think the most... Like, we saw Lolth in the standard 2020 or whichever one it was. Back when there just wasn't a lot of counterplay to it.
I don't know. I think Cool Jets was jamming a lot of mono black and top 8ing every single event with a lot of Lolth.
It helps when like 75% of the field is mono. And Lolth is like your best card against them. So we're crewing up the 4/4 in response to the meat hook. It's an interesting play to make. I am not precisely sure why you make it.
Yeah, it's tough. It gives your opponent the opportunity to use sorcery speed removal on it, but also it means you could activate it where you probably couldn't. So I feel like that's kind of habit or muscle memory, is to activate your vehicles in response to the crewing creature being removed. But I agree, I don't think that that's probably the best move here.
It has no value as a creature. It's not like they were going to attack.
Yeah, muscle memory says it usually can then block, but that's just not the case here. Doomscar is a cute draw.
I don't think we play the Ameria's Call here as a land. I think we cast it as a spell.
We are short a white source for that to be the case.
No, we're not. We have 3.
Oh, yes, we do. One of them, one on the far left there, looked a little...
Okay, now I'm going to play one. Feels a little bad. The tapping is a little bad. Would like to be able to cast check for traps, but bolting in for 3 is a pretty scary one.
I don't think I have any interest in bolting in for 3 at any point. Not when they've got a Hive of the Eye Tyrant.
And a meat hook.
Yeah, a couple of key removal spells and you could be out of the game.
Also, every life point we have represents another card draw off Lolth if we want to.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
It's a good thing we held on to those calls. Now we don't have an untapped land here. This could be a... Oh, never mind. Not a problem.
I am a little surprised that we didn't play that other Ameria's Call tap the previous turn. So we leave ourselves in the uncomfortable spot of being dead to removal if we cast the Ameria's Call here.
We are?
2 5/5s. We would be able to block 1.
Why?
Oh, we have the reach creatures.
We have reach
Never mind.
creatures, yeah.
Will they, won't they with the Lolth activate?
I like suiting up the lifelinker. Hopefully get some value.
Remember your training.
Yeah, it's a conservative play. Suiting up one of the 4/4 so it trades with a 5/5 is probably not bad either. Alright. So now are we attacking with the hive? We are not.
I think not. That seems a little light when you've got 2 4/4s on the other side of the board.
Yeah, the question is how aggressively can we attack on the other side? Like what kind of blocks can we? I don't think we're there yet.
These 3 planeswalkers on the board are definitely making things difficult.
This is a really interesting. Hammy agrees.
Hammy does agree.
Hammy's saying go for it.
A lot of stuff going on at the house today, apparently. I don't know why both of our players are having some... It might be me, but... different issues. The other one was like skipping, and this one's not.
Yeah, it's too bad nobody wants spectator mode.
Yeah. Spectator mode is pretty overrated. I don't think that that would be good for the game at all.
Yeah, no one wants that.
In any meaningful way.
So do we go back to the other one? This is kind of bad.
Yeah, maybe? Problem is, this is just game 1.
Yeah. Actually, do we know the outcome of the other one yet? That match might have been over in the time this game 1 is taken. Wedding announcement number 3, no big deal.
Wow. That is a lot of wedding announcements. Those angels are going to get huge.
Yeah. COVID's over. Everyone's trying to get a move on. Took a year off their life.
Okay. I'm going to quickly try to just reset and see if that helps. Let's see if the pop out helps.
All right. Okay. Pumping up the life linker. Now it attacks through the 5/5, and I think we take that up.
Well, they have 2. They could double block it. What does the shatter do? Is it CMC or is it...
CMC.
Okay, so they could choose to do one of the other 2. Yeah, I don't really like being at 4. Certainly not.
Every life point we gain represents more card draw offload. So I really do like attacking with the life.
Trading for one of the 5/5s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Or they can just take it, and then hopefully they... You know, we have a lot of reach and a lot of...
Yeah, we have a lot of everything, in fact. We can even jam another Marius Call. And we have 6, 7 with treasure.
At this point, I don't even hate getting in with Bankbuster. If we plus it with the Wanderer, that would trade with an Angel.
Our attacks get really, really next turn with the while making it destructible.
Yeah, we do want to be careful with the... Make sure we have vigilance on... You know, make sure we have enough creatures untapped to block. But we have life linkers.
I mean, we have 5, 7, 11, 15 damage in the air. We can pump up to 16 with the Wanderer. We can Vanishing Verse one of their flying blockers. I mean...
A lot of damage.
Are they... Okay. It's not lethal.
We've got the edge in this fight.
But there's no need to rush. The opponent's got nothing going on over there. We're gaining 6 life a turn. Sure.
That's a lot of card draw.
So these matches can take forever. Clock management is actually an important part of winning these. Not a skill that I have. But there are so many triggers in these decks, and Arena just sucks down so much of your time, even if you play as fast as you can.
Yes, the triggers, especially on like Meat Hook Massacres and things like that, can drain you out. And also just activating your Planeswalkers every turn is a pretty hefty time sink.
Especially when you need to order your triggers. They're in the tank. I don't think there's a wrong way to eat this Reese's at this point.
I bring my own army.
It would be the most devastating meat hook massacre of all time. I find it. Those are now 7/7 angels. And that's going to do it. The second Vanishing Verse is gone. More than enough, assuming the opponent does not have...
That's even better.
Like, at some point, we were bound to find all the removal spells and drawing like 4 cards a turn for the last 3.
A lot of Planeswalkers out. Can definitely get you way ahead in these games super quickly. Drawing, plussing, making creatures, drawing again.
Yeah, the opponent knows that they're super dead, but they are going to make our player here go through the motions.
I certainly would too when, like we said, time is a factor.
Strike fast and strike hard.
So we need to attack with enough so that Wandering Emperor doesn't hose us. If they have the Wandering Emperor, we're getting in for 4, 8, 11, 13. Still more than enough. No, actually it wouldn't be, right? Because they would gain 2 off of the exile. It would be at 1 if they had the Wandering Emperor. Okay, so Income the Duresses and Strokes makes a lot of sense. We've seen people go back and forth on Farewells. Some people have been thinking it's great in the matchup, it deals with a lot of the bank busters, and others have been saying, well, you know, the Planeswalkers are what really matter in the matchup, and Farewell doesn't deal with it. So the sideboarding has interested me, and I'm not really sure which side I come down on. Probably depends a lot on the exact build. Portable Hole seems like a reasonable thing to leave in as a 2-of to deal with the Bank Buster. Infernal Grasp doesn't seem super great. I'd be willing to take those out.
There's not a lot of things here that really deal with the Planeswalkers.
Soul Shatter does it.
Marches, the Farewells, the Doomscars, none of them really do that. The Portable Hole. It's, you know, kind of fringe, but I'm wondering if the Enrika, just having a flyer that can kind of come down a little early and possibly snipe one of those Planeswalkers, prevent, like, the Ninja Planeswalker from getting too far out of hand.
The problem is it's a monocolored spell that doesn't impact the board. Costs 4. It dies to Vanishing Verse, and even if you start attacking Planeswalkers, Wandering Emperor super well. So I'm not in love with that. Agreed.
It's just you know, not a lot of those cards in their sideboard were at all relevant in this matchup.
So this is why I thought the Esper deck would go all the way in this tournament. You were going to have a bunch of these kind of controlling matchups towards the end, and the player who's playing blue is the one who gets to decide what resolves and what. So if you're good at knowing what's relevant in the matchup and what isn't, then you're at a significant. The opponent just needs to deal with discard spells, get them through. But I would definitely want to be the Esper player here. So speaking of discard spells, Concealing Curtains is probably one of the better cards for the to have. Fortunately, it runs headlong into Vanishing Verse, so if they activate it, then it's a pretty big tempo loss. The Curtains has Defender, so there's no sense in pumping it up yet. I think we hold up Vanishing Verse here.
The Doomscar is not a terrible idea.
I think it's fine. I think, given that the opponent mulled to 5, their most likely play here is going to be to activate the Curtains, but they had a tap land anyway, so it paid off.
And if they activate the Curtains, they take the Vanishing Verse and you get to board clear anyway.
You Vanishing Verse the Curtains in response.
I'm saying that's what would have happened because we didn't have the mana.
Oh, I see.
So they would have taken it, but then the Doomscar takes it back.
That's gotta feel terrible. This simply has to be winning. Right? Oh.
That's interesting.
I Yes, the idea is that Vanishing Verse deals with the enchantment and Doomscar deals with the one it produces, and we're trying to keep them mana screwed. However, this was face up. They're going to take the Vanishing Verse. Or the March. Effectively the same card in this spot. And we're just chomping at the bit to play that. We want it. Give it to it.
That changes things a little bit, but I don't think by much.
I think we Doomscar here, and we have Iconjo plus Vanish following turn.
Yeah, King, this is Airball, one of our Degen streamers. We also had Power Dragon on earlier for coverage. If you guys missed out on the first part of the tournament, this is the semifinals. You guys can check it out on YouTube later tonight.
And all of a sudden, both players are kind of hellbent. I think we pump the brakes on... Yeah, we don't do this immediately. We want them to invest their mana in the curtains. Now we kill it.
Agreed. Top deck mode, the opponent has a 1/1 and a blank.
We have 2 kill spells. It feels like the first person to draw a Planeswalker here will be in great shape.
My money's on the Planeswalker deck.
I would think. And there we go. You're pretty good at this.
I am.
And yeah, I think we just hold the Iconjo in hand. And it's got to be like Vanishing Verse right here, right now. Opponent has dumped their hand. Somehow they found 5 lands and only 1 black source.
Perfect, perfect knowledge here for this side of the table.
We are at 8, which limits Lulth's ability to draw.
Not by a ton. I think we're still in a pretty good spot.
I think we're thrilled to just play Iconjo here. That's... Ooh.
Agreed. Do you Vanishing Verse the other wedding announcement?
Reason to yet. That'll deal with Lulth, but we have another one. Yeah, given that we're going to play Lulth next turn, and that's going to take both of our black sources, I am down to...
Yep. Yeah, it'll either be Lulth or it'll be an untapped land, and maybe we just play Call.
This makes sense. Trying to preserve the life totals for all in the future. Yeah, this is fine too. I think either order is probably okay, given that the opponent is not playing blue.
With them being Hellbent, I think I like the Call first, just because that is a pretty quick.
So the rest turns us off of casting Lulth here because we're on black sources.
My children wrench their hands. A gift.
And we have a lethal threat.
Loyalty.
Dress, yeah. Or not. Oh. Like one of the only outs was Wanderer there, and...
Yep. And it is no longer an out. Oh, off the top here for Esper Planeswalkers. That's...
It was that kind of game 3 for the opponent. That was on a mull to 5.
Game 2.
Final game of the match, yeah. Or exact lethal. That's a tough way to end a tournament. Okay, I cannot imagine, but is the other match still going?
It is not.
Okay.
And we have Boros is the winner of the other match, eliminating Mardu aggro. So it looks like we're going to be getting some Esper Planeswalkers versus Boros aggro.
Okay.
That's quite the 2 different types of decks here making it into the finals.
Yeah, and whoever goes first is critical, and because Tom finished first, I think that means he's going to be on the play with Boros against Esper.
Correct, yes. And again, congratulations to all of our top 8 guys. Places 5th through 8th is going to, they got those $50 gift cards, and then we have $100 for 3rd and 4th, and then these players are playing for, I believe, a whole $100 bonus. I believe it's $150 and $250 for our 2nd and 1st place. Let me just double check. Yeah, so the winner of this is a $100 bonus gift card here on top, which is a pretty big deal for a whopping $3 entry fee.
Yeah, I mean, this match is playing against Esper, so it's like going to be an hour long, but like $100 an hour is not bad.
All right, so we have one blue mage, one aggro player.
I think I like Boros here, given that Boros is going to win the draw.
Yeah, that is helpful.
I think it would go the other way if Boros was not on the play. How was the doggy discipline trip? Well, how do you think? What do you think of my behavior?
Medium at best.
See if I come down next time. Sitting really well. Yeah.
He did master sit pretty early on. Great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Snap keep. All right, sometimes you just have everything.
We pump the aspirant here, right? So that we have the option to pump the initiate next time with not mentor training. Oh, okay. We pump the initiate, just get in the beats.
Yeah, it depends, right? If you are wanting to quickly be able to shut down a...
He took.
No, the other one. The wedding announcements, right? Or Bank Buster. The other side of the board has Bank Busters.
You mean to be able to remove the counters?
Yeah.
Well, initiate doesn't care what creature you remove counters from.
Oh, that's true. I did forget about that.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay, Vanishing Verse forced to hit the initiate there in what does feel like there's some sort of answer to aspirant coming.
I do actually like separating your eggs into 2 different baskets, because you kind of want to kill the thing that's bigger and the thing that's going to, remove half of your deck that's not planeswalkers. It lets you keep the aspirant around as well, which I think...
Kaito.
That's...
So now we know the Legion Angel's going to resolve.
Yeah, Kaito's... It's pretty slow here.
Pumping up the Flyer makes some sense. The Meat Hook is going to be for 2 next turn if they have it.
Sorry, guys. A little bit of latency. I think it's on my end. Stream is just a little choppy. Guys.
So we did choose to pump the Cathar. Stay ahead of the Meat Hook. Having to chump with the Kaito token not feel great.
Did they have to?
Well, they thought they did. I'm not sure. It's hard to know without seeing their hand whether they had to or not.
Maybe they think they have enough answers here to where, that thing's going to die anyway. If they think they're going to Meat Hook here for 2 to get rid of the aspirant, you might as well chump. No reason not to.
I don't like saving the Cathar because we didn't have another good turn 3 play.
Agreed.
I think that we are definitely the beatdown and we can't be taking turns off.
Especially because most of the threats in their deck are going to be planeswalkers, which isn't going to help us.
It's outstanding that we get to go to night. So, again, a player has played their 4th land, said go. What do you think they have? So, obviously, Emperor doesn't want to target Brute because of the ward cost. They do want to target the Aspirant. I'm wondering if we just attack with everything but.
I mean, I kind of like attacking with everything, because if they play the Wanderer or kill the Aspirant, you're still doming them for 9. Plus you have a land, plus you could play another Angel, and then you have land next turn.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that this is a bad spot if Wanderer kills Aspirant.
So next turn, 8 hook will only be for 3. Yeah.
I
I think
this.
given that the mass removal isn't really an option for the opponent, and they're going to need single target removal, let's just throw as many single targets as we can.
And if they choose to kill the aspirant, you know, we have lethal threats next turn. If they choose to, you know, take down something larger, then we're not being rewarded in any way for holding back the aspirant.
What do you think they have?
I think it's a wanderer. I think the decision is, what are we killing? And I don't know if they can afford to kill the aspirant and take that much damage.
What they're going to choose. It feels like it's each and
Yeah, it's definitely a tough spot.
go for the aspirant. We go up to 16, then down to 7. We had the option of Iganjoing our own creature to deny the life gain, but that was a little cute. And we probably just say go. Yeah. This gives us insurance against sweepers. If the opponent holds up a counterspell for the Wanderer, we're still getting in for 9 turn. I like this.
We still get to make the 2/2.
Away goes the meat hook, which they did have, but it wasn't good enough.
Too slow.
Cash in the Wanderer and Foretell. I don't have their deck list in front of me. I assume the only Foretell card is...
Doomscar.
It's possible it's Starnheim Unleashed. Some of these lists do run that.
Let's take a peek. I don't believe so.
We didn't see it in any of the other games where we followed this. That's the only.
Hey Sherwood, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Looks like we're gonna plus the Bugbear Den.
So kill the Bugbear, chump the 4/4. We're still getting in for exactly 7. To kill the Legion Angel, chump the Brute, and then take 7.
I think it's because he's a little farther, so when you trail off, just try to speak up a bit.
Sure. If there's only a single removal spell here, I don't see a way to taking 7.
I believe it's just going to be a Vanishing Verse. That's going to come down.
Yeah, if you Vanishing Verse the Angel, then you get to chump the 4/4. Bugbear's going to get in for 4 plus 5. Plus 1 is 5, plus 2. Exact lethal.
So it looks like we're just going to get to a game 2. Esper says, no thank you.
We have a bunch of tech we're bringing in for this match.
And, you know, concessions at that point makes a lot more sense for Esper because they know they're going to need the time if they get to game 3.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be the Boros deck. So we get to bring in Showdown of the Scalds, which is an all-star against the Esper deck. The game plan here is going to be to put enough pressure down to make the opponent wipe the board, and then when they're tapped low, cast Showdown and do it all over again. So in terms of cards that are kind of mopey in the matchup, the Cathars don't hit many targets. They're vulnerable to removal as well. So it looks like we just brought in the Showdowns, cut the Cathars, and I didn't see what else we brought in. Probably the Redains. I think it was Redain. Yeah, chat confirms. It was Redain. Ugly. Much better.
Pretty fast mulligans decisions here, but I imagine we've seen quite a few games with the deck already.
Bottoming the Wanderer. Makes some sense. Probably don't want to keep both 4-drops here. Well, we're reconsidering. I guess the Showdown is not really a 4-drop in the conventional sense. Like, you'd much rather play it on 5. It can't really be bottoming a land, right? I think that's a little too greedy.
I don't know, I'm pretty greedy.
Well, we did draw a land off the top, and not just any land, we drew Den. Foretell. Where were you on turn 1?
Right? So the opponent's got the Doomscar. Pretty easy card to play around, thankfully.
Yeah, so we do want to force the Doomscar out of them, but I don't think we want to do it this turn. We want to force them to do that the turn before we play Showdown.
That's really tough. The only way to do that, I think, is with the Adeline. There's no other sequence, I think, that might do that. Oh.
Sure. I mean, if you told me that I was going to trade Adeline 1-for-1 with Doomscar, I would have been thrilled. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Agreed. And if they choose not to, then Adeline does make it so they will then have to eventually commit it because it's going to be making the board wider and wider. We're a little slow here.
Feels like here we do have to cast the Showdown on 4. It sucks. Like, Initiate is just not moving enough.
I'm wondering if it's Initiate Bugbear and then hope to then cast a bunch of things off the Showdown the next turn, just so you make sure you get something down for the counters, but it does seem pretty light.
This doesn't feel great, but it's one of those moments where you just take your medicine. And we hit a bunch of expensive stuff as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to... Redain will at least tax the Doomscar that we know they have. Ooh, Henrika. Interesting. Okay, so Doomscar will cost 5, now with the Redain in play. Henrika can force Todd to sacrifice something here. Can manage the board a little while longer, having to crack the Doomscar. But those dens do loom in the background.
These are exciting games for the finals.
Absolutely.
I actually like where Standard is at right now. Seems like there's a lot of really good decks floating about.
Me too. Power Dragon and I were talking about this when you were taking a break earlier. It seems to be this, like, rotating merry-go-round of decks. Each deck takes a turn being the best one, and then another one takes advantage of that one. Kind of where you want any format to be.
And we had a really good, like, diverse showing in today's tournament.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good draw, because it's one of the spells that we can cast that don't get punished by Doomscar that does get the benefit of the Showdown and Skulls trigger. And we're just going. We're just jamming the Hopeful Initiative.
Yeah, it's, you know, one more thing. It's going to get eaten by the Doomscar, but it does allow the aspirant to get in here and get to attack. And we can then play the Bugbear Den and start having some follow-up attackers the next turn because our opponent will Doomscar away their own creatures.
Yeah, if we had held the Initiate, the aspirant would still be able to attack by putting the counter on itself, and then we would have been able to get the benefit of the Kazakhstan trigger with the Initiate the next turn and still been able to activate Den. Or once again in a situation where the opponent has said go. With a bunch of white mana open. Redain cannot be exiled by the Wanderer. Actually, Redain also taxes the Wanderer. Never mind. So the Wanderer can't be played here.
I'm really glad the mic is not sensitive enough to pick up my stomach growling.
Yeah, it's like I can feel the house shaking.
Oh my gosh. That's not true.
I'm concerned for my safety.
Don't bite. Often.
It transforms and attacks. Feels like Doomscar is en route. Sure is. Okay.
And we still have some, you know, Bugbear Dens here. Even more Bugbear Dens. Which is actually going to apply a decent amount of pressure getting the free 1/1s here.
At this point, Loth would be a pretty good way to stabilize. You would think if they had the Loth, they would have played it the previous turn, get the benefit of the Doomscar triggers. Kazakhstan flips, and we are flooding. Not yet at the point where we can activate both dens.
No, but fair amount of damage here. What are we looking at? A Wanderer? They haven't foretold another card, so this is just Wanderer. Pretty minor.
Lose the den.
Yeah.
They're still going to take 4.
Just, you know, and we have plenty of Bugbear Dens to follow.
Oh, we also... Oh, that was bad timing. Oh.
We get to... Oh, wow, that was great.
They had just let that trigger resolve first. The Wanderer would still be around.
Yep. And they would get a nice little bonus there. They wouldn't, you know, we'd have to attack it for more damage in the following turn.
I have definitely done that before. It feels terrible. But there are definitely some heavy-hitting cards in the opponent's deck. That's one of them. That's a good way to start.
It is, but the Bugbear Dens are just going to keep coming out.
I mean, Vanishing First seems like a reasonably likely card for the opponent to have. We can't do anything but attack. Sure, same difference.
We can still follow it up. We're running out though, but like, we just need the opponent to not have one answer and it would be a 2-0, like one turn essentially. But
I feel massively behind at this point.
We're out of gas, yeah. If this is their last thing, then I think we're still okay. But at this point, we need to stop flooding.
Okay. Soul Shatter will deal with the last den. It's a good answer to the Valorous stance. One of the only answers to the Valorous stance.
Oof, and we're going to get a game 3. These were both good games for our finals, which is always very exciting. I hate seeing, like, you know, just a quick land screw on both sides of the board or, you know, either side.
Todd, of course, reaping the benefits of his undefeated finish in the Swiss. That's why he gets to be on the play in game 3, which in this matchup makes all the difference in the world. It's not surprising that he won the one game where he was on the play and he lost the one where he was on the draw. And his hand was not bad in game 2 either. It wasn't multi-6, but it was still very strong.
Pure luck from the opponent. Why good game? And both opponents played spells and removed each other's stuff, and you know, one person didn't get stuck on 2 mana.
I think it was a back and forth game with a lot of interesting sequencing decisions. And honestly, this feels like a 50-50 coin flip of a match.
And it was a very good game until the last 4 land draws from Todd Turkey.
Yeah.
The pressure was really good. I really quickly am going to close this out and see if I can...
Yeah, I think there's an impulse that a lot of people have to just assume that more games are decided by luck than they actually are, especially when it comes to aggro decks. There are a lot of decisions on both sides, and the game can go a bunch of different ways.
Well, Twitch chat is the best player in the world. They only lose because of luck.
That's true.
Arweldo, thank you for the Prime sub.
So we had to take turn 2 off. We do have double Legion Angel, but this is not really where Todd wants to be.
This is far too slow.
Yeah, this is just a very anemic draw. Nothing that's going to scare our opponent over here. We do get to pump the Legion Angel, I suppose, next turn, if it resolves. I feel like Disdainful Stroke is a super likely thing. If it weren't for the second Legion Angel in hand, I would be very concerned about playing this.
Drawing 2 Legion Angels is also kind of a sad day as well.
Okay, I mean, as removal spells go, that's kind of the one that we want them to spend. More mana, 2 of it's white, but instead we get Henrika.
Hard lose a life.
Really hate these snarls. Doesn't make a difference here. My god, I hate those snarls. Alright, our sideboard is exhausted. Henrika, this is probably where she flips. Ooh.
Soul Shatter. Good good removal spell for the only real threat here.
It's a premium removal spell.
You know, that said, the opponent doesn't actually have a ton of cards in hand for being the control deck.
That's true. A lot of the time against these aggressive decks, you board out a lot of your card draw because you'd rather just draw the kill spells that you're boarding in. But it will probably mean it'll take a little longer for his opponent to stabilize. So Thalia is going to tax the Wanderer here, if that is indeed what the opponent has, which is pretty relevant because it'll leave them with 1 mana left over instead of 2. So the targeted removal will not be effective.
Vanishing Verse tax.
Finishing first, but hitting the Legion Angel instead of the Thalia is interesting.
I'm assuming they just think that that is not relevant.
Yeah, which is interesting. It says a lot about their hand that they're not worried about. Gonna channel away the Sawkinson. Getting in for 2, 4, 6. The opponent has a 3/4 lifelinking Death Toucher.
We need this last Legion Angel for a 4 to survive and be able to take this lifelinker off the board, which just hasn't been the case.
Yeah, I mean, this opponent's deck is probably running like 10 plus removal spells.
Yeah.
And Lolth really is a good way to slam the door shut here, unfortunately.
Fortunately, Bugbear Den is not a good attack. Really not a lot.
It feels like none of the attacks are very good, but saying go just
Also
feels like
very
conceding.
bad. I'm wondering if we like forcing the trade with the Angel if we attack Lolth. Like if that's the trade we want to make anyway, because we've been not attacking because we want to block it, right?
Double block it with both fighters.
Yeah.
If we have to throw the 1/1s at them to make sure it dies, Henry
Okay.
gets to block it.
Here we go.
Yeah, but at this point, like what would they have? What did the opponent not play at this point? Okay, I was pretty concerned about a counterspell. Todd has drawn an awful lot of land, must be said.
In both games, in game 2 and this game. But we're going to get to see this hand, and we're going to get some counters next turn. We're going to get another creature that can attack 2 lands.
But one of them's Saganjo.
Yeah.
So if we had attacked with Legion Angel, that would have been the end of Legion Angel. So, okay. If Kaito finds Meat Hook, it wipes almost the entire board for Todd.
Meat Hook is a bad play. Todd feels pretty far behind if the opponent finds, if Esper Planeswalkers finds anything.
Offering the portable hole the opponent was doing there, I wonder if they have Farewell. And they're wondering what the board state will be if they exile it.
Yeah, Farewell is tempting with the showdown on the board, right?
Yeah, there's no other artifacts. There's no reason to exile portable hole, like the portable hole if you have Farewell, but it is kind of a tell that I've seen in Arena. Adeline a pretty excellent top. Anything we attack with, the opponent gets to kill.
Yeah, we could flash in we could have attacked first and then flashed in the Wanderer to protect it from the 4 damage spell.
I wonder if... Okay, then I'm at a loss. I guess he wanted to see if it would resolve. If the opponent had a counterspell or declaring his attack. Banishing. So I feel like I feel like Todd's in pretty okay shape as long as there's no mass removal.
Let's take a peek at the deck.
Like, I think we get to double activate Den here, right?
This looks like some removal to me.
Well, any block they get to kill with the blocker with Aganjo. Well, actually, it's not quite true, but it would die to the Death Touch. They found it.
Oh, the meat hook off the top.
For 5. We're going to take 3. The opponent's going to gain, what, I think like 8.
Yeah. And they still have 2 planeswalkers on board. That's...
However, we do have 2 dens.
2 dens and an untapped land to activate them both. But the dens will die immediately to the spiders.
Well, not if we give them indestructible with Valorous Stance.
Well, we can't activate both. So then what we would do is, I guess, just activate the 1, attack, Valorous Dance it. Oh, and then it gets +1/+1. Ugh.
Yeah, I do not blame Todd for scooping there. I think that that's probably all she wrote. I don't think there was any more value to wring out of that stone. So we have a new champion.
Yes. Big congratulations to the Esper Planeswalker player. And for the name, I forgot. The names are different.
Sean Murphy. No, it's not. It's A-Rod, of course. Alex Rodriguez. Glad you're continuing your winning ways, A-Rod. It's nice to see.
So congratulations. That was Tom's, Boros' first loss. Crazy 8-0 into 8-1 for a second place finish, giving you $150 in Ultra Pro prizes. Phoenix will be reaching out with that. And then Alex, you are our big winner today, the Degen Open, a $250 gift card to Ultra Pro. And again, guys, make sure you guys use that Degen code for the 5% off. Gives you a little extra bonus for your gift cards as well. Tells them that we sent you. It's very much appreciated. And for you guys, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you guys use that code. Go show Airball and Power Dragon some love. We would really appreciate it. You want to tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. Mostly what I'm doing these days is YouTube. You can find me at Airball MTG over there. And occasionally, when I do stream on Twitch, it's also Airball MTG there as well.
Real quick, I do want to bring your guys' attention to 2 weeks. We have our biggest tournament ever. I'll go ahead and post the link there for you guys. For a whopping $7 entry fee, we're going to be doing another standard tournament. We have $800 in cash, Streets of New Capenna Championship invite, as well as like $100 worth of gems and Ultra Pro gift card prizes and bounties on content creators. So if you beat one Ultra Pro streamer, you're going to get your money back plus right away, in addition to over $1,000 in prizes and the championship. So definitely our biggest tournament yet. So make sure you guys enroll in that if you guys are interested. Follow Airball and Power Dragon and check out our Degen sponsors that we have listed down below. Cool stuff, Ultra Pro. We have TCG Showdown and Alter Sleeves as well. I think that's it.
I think so.
All right, guys, we love you very, very much. Thank you again for checking out the channel. Make sure you guys hit the follow button. Come back and see us. Also, I want to note, last thing, we are the #1 Magic streamer.
Are we really?
Without any super major massive hosts.
Nice.
Which is kind of impressive. So I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed the content. And we'll see you back here again in 2 weeks for more standard.
I think that's right. Yeah.